Welcome to BitBoy Crypto.
We can't let anybody else find out who we are. My eyes are up here. I personally would not advise that strategy. It's Bugs Bunny or Tweety Bird. How to make money in crypto.
Oh, you're killing me.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community, all of the interwebs. No channel works harder to keep you in the know when it comes to crypto. Today is Friday, July 29th. Happy birthday, Alex. And it is 11:30 a.m. We come to you Monday through Friday with all the breaking stories of, the past 24 hours. And today is no different. It has been wild, but we're glad. I thought it was going to be the Frank and DZ show, but TJ is feeling strong enough to speak even.
Yeah, 2 days in a row. Still here. I'm
All
inspired by you. You come to work hurt. Why shouldn't I?
Yeah, what do you say to address all the rumors that it's a suspicious nature of everyone's injuries in the office? Is there any rampaging madman hurting us? That's what they're worried about.
Yeah, no, I think it's better just keep it a mystery. Keep them guessing.
Yeah, and also some of it was our fault.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. Okay.
Mike Will did call us out in that meeting. We're sitting there talking about NFTs and Web3 and all this stuff, and he's just like, why are you guys all beat up? What happened here?
Yeah, and that was before you're in the neck brace. Can you imagine if you're in the neck brace? It'd be even worse. But, you know what? We keep plugging along. Why? Bear market, it doesn't matter, because this is the time to build. What happens when you build? Sometimes, you got to break some eggs. What happened to the Empire State Building? There's probably a lot of people who had to, pay the price, the ultimate price. But, hey, now we have this shiny building. We're also trying to do the same thing with this channel. We're trying to build something. We're building something great that's going to withstand the test of time. That'll outlive us. That will just, continue to build and build and build. Building. But, all right, let's get right into it. We're going to check out the YouTube here. Still at 1.45 million. Congrats to Mr. Beast, by the way. He live streamed. I don't know if you saw that, where he live streamed the amount. Maybe we should have Ben do that so we can get to 0.46.
Yeah.
That might work.
That is crazy, though. 100 million subscribers for Mr. Beast.
Yeah, only 5 people have done that. Was it? I know PewDiePie was first, and a couple other ones. I think it's mostly corporate accounts, but I think there might be one. But yeah, let us know in the chat. I think maybe TJ's even looking it up. But yeah, congrats, Mr. Beast. Can't wait to see that 100 million video. Make sure you're checking out the channel. We got some really good stuff. And if you check out channels, hey, plenty of friends of the channels. We love them all. But make sure you're checking out our other stuff here. Frankie Candles, Hit Network, Meta Money, and, of course, NFT Alpha just off the screen here. Wait a minute, let me go. Oh, yeah. NFT Alpha. We're going to have a video coming out probably right after the live stream, scheduled 12:45. So you're going to want to check that out. We just passed 20K. And our shorts have been crushing it. If you go to Instagram, I think we're averaging 20K views. So, we're putting out a lot of short form content. But don't worry, the long form videos are going to be coming. There's a little bit of a gap. But, traveling, building.
Yeah.
Maybe we got some drops coming soon. This might be breaking news to you.
Okay.
We're coming close with some NFT alpha. That I'm going to say the name. I think we have all the URLs. We have all the socials. The JPEG junkies. All right, just whispered it. All right, that's it. That's it. What's it going to be? Maybe a little bit of a clothing, maybe a little lifestyle brand. Speaking of lifestyle brands, make sure you check out hitmerch.com. People love this stuff. You see it on all types of giant publications as well. And hey, I have my NFT Alpha shirt on yesterday's ATB. So if you want to see the new merch, make sure you check Around the Blockchain if you haven't checked that out already. Ben, congrats. 865, almost at 866, getting close to 900K, which is right around the corner from 1 million. The Rare Bloom giveaway, I do want to just do a quick mention on this. Big Cardano event. Ben's going to be on stage with Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano. So really, you're going to want to check that out at the Gaylord. The one in Nashville was really, really good. I've never been to Colorado. This is going to be my first trip to Colorado. You look like you've been there like 11 times already.
I've been there a couple times for snowboarding, but not for anything like this. This is cool. That's cool. That's exciting.
All right. Are you going to be healed in time? Are you going?
I don't think. What's the date?
It is in October. Good question. It is, I want to say, in the first part of the month, if I'm not mistaken. So early October. Are you going to be healed by then?
Absolutely. It's only a 6-week recovery. So
okay. Is there snow on the slopes in October?
Maybe. It's pretty early, but there could potentially. I don't know when they open their season. That's kind of right on the line. Depends if it's early or late October, probably.
Greta said soon you won't be able to snowboard, so I don't know. We
Uh-oh.
might have to. We'll have to look into that. Check out the Colorado Rockies. See what their snow schedule's like. 35,000 followers. Make sure you know you're following me here. If you want to know more about a little Cardano Mobile, I got that pinned. Chad face.
I love those.
People love the Chad jaw. I don't know why. I'm not gonna force you to watch these things, but yeah, I try to put out some pretty funny content if you like it. But I think we might be ready for old Mr. Cavs because the crypto market's been hard to predict lately, but I know the Candle Mafia has been doing good. Candle Mafia, where are you at? Okay, and yeah, it looks like, I might have even moved your window here. This is left-handed things here. All right, yeah, if you want to start with that. It might not be up here. You might have
Just limp up
Oh,
here,
look at
guys.
that.
I hurt my leg. I don't know. These weird injuries. I don't know.
Nah, he's just trying to fit in.
Don't leave me out, guys. I'm in the back. I'm like kicking metal.
Is that what you're doing with the butter knife earlier? I was like, that
I just
isn't
want
gonna
to fit
work.
in, guys.
That's a cool shirt. Is that a new Frankie
Thank
Candle
you.
shirt?
Yes, this is a little bit of a this is some sample Frankie Candles merch that we just got in. Just a clean logo. We're gonna have much more. But yeah, these are samples, so I really like it. Figured I'd sport it on the live stream here. So, guys, we have a lot of really good stuff to look at on the charts. Yeah, let me pull up coin market cap real quick so we could take a look at what is going on just real quick to run down here. Bitcoin coming in at 23,906. Let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. Bitcoin coming in at $23,954, just updated here, up about 2% on the day, 2.7% on the week. Ethereum at $1,700, down a little bit on the hour, but still up 2% on the day and up about almost 9% on the week. Let's go ahead and look. Let's look at our top movers. OP up. Actually, I think one of our guys here that works in the office here doubled his money on this. So
Nice.
OP up 18% on the day, about 80% on the week. AMP up 0.03% on the day. We got Hollow up about 3%, Gala up 5.3%, and shout out to Nick Demondi, Ravencoin up 18% on the day. So not too bad, guys. We are starting to see things move a little bit here. Now,
real quick, just hit the volume, market cap, and dominance.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's really what I wanted to look at. The
Gotcha.
ETH dominance is actually still climbing.
Yeah, ETH dominance going absolutely insane here. So Bitcoin coming in at 41.6%, ETH at 19%. So yeah, ETH making moves here. And I'm actually going to, let me bring up the charts here because I want to talk about it a little bit. So basically, guys, I don't want to beat a dead horse here because I know we've kind of been talking about this a lot on the live streams, but I just want to cover on the bullish side. This is really the bullish argument, right? There's not much in the way between us and about 28 to 30K. There's really not much in the way. So if we do wind up breaking this area that we're essentially bouncing off of right now, shout out to these spider lines, guys. This yellow diagonal line, this dotted line here, we had a perfect rejection here, and we are perfectly rejecting right here again. But essentially, if we break this level here at about 24,185, if we crack this resistance, it's probably going to be a pretty quick move up here to about 25,322. And if we break this, guys, we have a giant gap in volume. We talk about this a lot. It's probably going to be a pretty quick move up to about 28 to 30K, right? We have the macro golden pocket in this area and a high volume node right here at about 30K even. So if we do crack this, it probably would be, there's nothing in the way, right? On the way up to 30K. But with that being said, there are some things kind of pointing that we could come down a little bit here. And that being, right, 4 hour now printing a bearish divergence. These are typically pretty powerful. So, this is confirmed, I believe. I think it is confirmed. This is, confirmed bearish divergence on the 4 hour here. So that would indicate that we could come down. And on top of that, we do have the 4 hour money flow generally coming out here. So that is pretty bearish, looking like we could potentially turn around a little bit here. whether that's going to be a small cool off before possibly retesting this spider line again, putting it another higher low and continuing higher. And maybe that's where we see the break of this zone here into that low volume gap up to 30K. But these 4-hour bearish divergences can be pretty powerful. So pretty bearish sign there. Now, 2-hour as well did put in a bearish divergence here as well, with money flow coming out. And then if you come down to the lower time frames, you just have money flow generally coming out. Now, if you guys are not familiar with Market Cypher, essentially this money flow, the money flow index indicates money leaving or entering an asset, right? So when you see on the lower time frames that money's starting to leave with those bearish divergences on the middle time frames like this, it typically will indicate that we are going to pull back. So you want to keep that in mind, with the general thought that if we do come back up, there's not much on the way to up to 30K. So shorter term does look like we can get a pullback. Now, speaking of that, if we pull up the DXY here too, and you come over to the 4-hour chart, you can see we are starting to put in bullish divergences here on the 4-hour chart. So bearish divergences on Bitcoin on the 4-hour, bullish divergences on the DXY 4-hour. Obviously, they move inverse of each other, so this is typical to see. So this would also be somewhat bearish for Bitcoin, right? So you had one bearish divergence here. DXY came up, right? Now we're starting to print another one right here. So we could see this come back up and potentially test this level, which would, push Bitcoin down most likely to get a little bit of a dip. But before I let you guys go, there is something I want to bring up here with Ethereum, right? Now, I did bring this up in the Discord. I mean, guys, if you are not in the Frankie Candles Discord, get in there, because we are putting some really, really good TA in there. It's completely free. And if I'm not in there putting TA, we have really good traders in there, part of the community, that are absolutely crushing it, putting their charts, sharing ideas. It's a great place to learn. So get in there if you're not already. But we put our Ethereum levels in. This is not the specific levels. They're on my personal charts, but we were calling for, I was saying if Bitcoin could get that breakout to about 28 to 30K, we could see Ethereum rip up to about 18K. Now, we do have another line right here, which we did reach almost perfectly. But the interesting thing here is I've been talking about how Ethereum has been leading Bitcoin in a lot of these things, right? Like the bullish signals. We had the bullish divergence on the daily for ETH before it ever showed up on Bitcoin. We had the weekly green dot on ETH before it ever showed up on Bitcoin. So Ethereum has been leading the moves here in the market ahead of Bitcoin. And so to see Ethereum rip up to this $1,800 target, it does make me wonder if Bitcoin's going to follow suit, because if you come back to Bitcoin, you can see we are lagging a little bit behind, right? So Ethereum has got all the way up to this consolidation zone. So my thought was that Bitcoin would rip up to about 30K and ETH would follow. But now we have ETH completely broken out of its range, flew through the low volume gap right up to its next zone. And Bitcoin's lagging behind. And now that we're seeing a little bit of a rejection here, I'm starting to wonder, is Bitcoin going to follow? Now, one thing you want to remember is the daily money flow is looking absolutely beautiful. If we can get this daily money flow crossover, I think this is where we could potentially see the price really start. This is where we could finally make it up to that 30K level. One thing to watch out for is a potential bearish divergence. If price comes up a little higher here, we could, and we print a red dot, we potentially could put a bearish divergence in which case I would start to question if this is going to break down, in a dramatic way. So I think that's all I got for you guys today. Again, if you want just some levels to watch here, the main levels we need to get past to continue higher here is going to be this, basically where we're at right now, this white line at about 24,186, and the next level above that would be 25,322. But I think that's all I got, guys. I'll see you at 5:45.
Real quick before you hop off, I want to ask all of us DZ2s. There's a question in the chat. What would you guys rather hold short and long term, 10 ETH or 1 BTC? Go.
Long-term 10 ETH, short-term 1 BTC. If you could back test that all the way to, say, November of last year, you can back test it even further to the earlier bull run. Bitcoin is stronger, because if you think 10 ETH would have to be 6,900. But I think it will be better to have 10 ETH eventually. Is that 1 year from now, 2 years from now? I would say less than before the next bull run top. So less than 3 years from now.
I would say, You know, in a bear market right now, if I had to pick one right now, you get 10 ETH or 10. I have to go ETH. I
Yeah.
have to go ETH. The one reason I would say Bitcoin is because typically Bitcoin will run up first before the alts, so you could kind of get that first run up on Bitcoin, sell a little bit, and then buy back some ETH, and before that actually goes to rip up. But I would say, quick answer, probably 10 ETH.
Yeah, and he meant 1,800, not 18K. I've seen a couple people. Obviously, you know he meant 1,800.
Oh yeah, I
I
do
think
that a lot.
18K ETH eventually.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
12
one day.
years from now.
Sounds
or
great.
14 years.
One day.
Yeah, if it truly goes deflationary.
That's right. But that's all I got for you guys. I'll see you at 5:45. Bing bong. Back to DZ. Let's go.
All right.
Bing, bong.
Mafia, and I saw that they call you Frankie Sway. Is that because he does the Brandon impression?
Yeah.
You know, look, that's the secret.
Let's,
the secret to
you're
the
sitting
cabs,
down on
everybody.
yours.
All right, we do have a couple Bitcoin stories we want to go over here. Bitcoin's price hits a 6-week high as market sustains these short-term gains. Continues to sustain its short-term upside price momentum, with investors looking out for signals to end the ongoing bear market. We would all love to end this ongoing bear market. And Bitcoin's upward momentum comes in the wake of the Fed Reserve interest rate raising the rate by 75 basis points for the second month to contain this U.S. inflation that continues to hit these record highs not seen in decades. He notes that Bitcoin has formed a crucial support floor between 21.7 and 22.380, a region that saw 691,000 addresses purchase 500,000 Bitcoin. So yeah, the long-term hodlers is, kind of what I'm guessing. That is a little bit less than 1 Bitcoin on average, but I don't have the funds to just be buying 0.8 Bitcoin, 0.9 Bitcoin, and that's what the average is here. So I would assume that's, compared to me at least, these are larger investors. So the larger investors, they're coming in, they're comfortable in these low 20s range. Now, the buying pressure on the asset has partly pushed the general market to regain a capitalization of 1 trillion. We did hit 1.1 briefly. At the same time, Bitcoin continues to correlate with the stock market after briefly decoupling in early July. I would say right now we're kind of coupled with this DXY momentum in the chart. So DXY, dollar bad, good for Bitcoin, dollar good, bad for Bitcoin. And it kind of makes sense if you think about with the previous all-time high in November. TJ, you definitely remember this. We would see countries with slightly weaker currencies, they had their all-time high sometimes like a month before us, sometimes like 3 weeks before us, 2 weeks before us. Stronger currencies, roughly around our time. So we will see this as the dollar strengthens and weakens. Our American purchasing power is going to be fluctuating wildly, but it's a country by country basis. I'm just bringing that up because most of the people here, American. Let us know in the chat, where are you from?
Well,
if you're outside America, please type. We love hearing all this information.
Yeah, and an easy way to think about it is other currencies, right? They're all varying their buying power at any given time. So as the dollar gets stronger, that means you can buy more with it, just like you could with euros or anything else. Same thing happens with Bitcoin. When the dollar is getting weaker, you're able to buy more Bitcoin with the same amount of dollars. So
yeah, and there's people, all they do is arbitrage those
Exactly.
currencies. That's how SBF made his fortune in 2017. I think it's Korea or Japan, but he was doing
Probably
arbitrage
Japan.
there. Any thoughts on Elron? I might try to, if we get another scary moment, I might try to scoop some, but just want to, you can only be in so many of these strong L1s and still stay on top of everything. So
yeah, I mean, we really like Elron or eGold or that's one of our kind of dark horses for the next cycle to be a very strong layer one. So I think they've got really good tech. And yeah, guys, I know my voice sounds different. They had to move my vocal cords. Like you can't. There's a hole right there in my throat, so they had to cut a hole in my throat, move the vocal cords over. So it's going to be a couple days probably before I sound back to normal. So
all right, all over the globe here.
Yeah.
A lot of Americans. Okay. Australia, what time is it over there? Appreciate it. It's like a little nighttime show. Okay.
yeah.
All right. This 11-year-old Bitcoin indicator shows reversal ahead. Now, this is a very famous 6th grader. No, wait a minute. No, this is actually an indicator. Never mind. One of the most popular and time-tested indicators in technical analysis, the RSI, or the Relative Strength Index, is showing many signs of an upcoming bounce for Bitcoin as the first crypto is trading around extremely low values for the last few months. This is, I'm assuming on the larger time frames they're doing this. This indicator remains one of the most accurate tools in TA, considering the fact that it successfully determined the most recent reversal on the market. Unfortunately, the fact that Bitcoin is going to bounce around this price does not necessarily mean that we're going to see a full reversal triple gainer backflip. Look, short term, things can go down. You saw that bearish divergence. I think that was involving the RSI. The price and the RSI, sometimes they differ. And then, you'll end up getting maybe another heavy move down. Like we said, I'm not thinking we're out of the woods for 11, 12, 13, 14K Bitcoin. I'm not saying I think it is going to go there. I'm leaning towards, generally, I think it's certainly maybe slightly more than probable, but we're not saying, hey, this is going to do it guaranteed. I will say this, every day, I feel a little bit better that 17 was the bottom, but, just when you're at full euphoria, that's when it'll chop in half. And then, here's 15, 14, 13. So just be careful out there. But yeah, the RSI, really good indicator. We love it around here. And if you watched ATB, we had a great debate with Tim from CryptoJeb and Crypto Lifer, and they were discussing bearish and bullish divergences and their difference of opinion. So really, it got a little heated. So if you didn't catch ATB last night, you might want to check it out. Chat was typing fight, there. But you know what? Everyone, we hugged at the end. We shook hands. Everybody respects everybody. So.
Well, that's the beauty of that show is there's a lot of different opinions in crypto or big blockchain, and getting them all out there, getting them discussed. Like you said, we can't predict the future. The only guarantee with Bitcoin is there are no guarantees. You never know what it's going to do. Even when you think you've got it nailed, like you said, it'll play with you a little bit. So, that's what I like about that show is we allow people to get on there and share their opinion, and then the audience at home gets a mix of different opinions, and they get to decide for themselves what they think is going to happen.
Yeah, GATA, brings it up. We didn't get that super parabolic run up on the high, so maybe we won't get that, crazy capitulation on the bottom. It's certainly possible. I think Cali Crypto Dude is bringing up a good question, though. The lotto, you saw that it passed $1 billion. Typically, when those things pass $1 billion, I think it's happened a handful of times. I might buy 5, 10 tickets. It's not like I think I'm going to win. And you say, well, why are you buying it at $1 billion versus, when it's 100 million? Not really going to make too much of a difference. Well, the dopamine spike, you feel a little bit more euphoria. It's basically you're throwing your money away in a casino in Vegas. You get that little dopamine. I'm just playing for that little bit of a rush. But when it is super high and you get 5 of the 6 numbers plus a Powerball, or 4 of the 6 numbers plus a Powerball, you end up like making 20x you would with those low amounts. So that 20,000 you might get for 4 of the numbers plus the Powerball, now is all of a sudden it's like 200,000. So you feel a little bit better. And I don't think I'm going to win, but guess what? If I do, move over Michael Saylor. There's going to be a new whale in town.
Well, and technically, if you're into like gambling, poker, you have pot odds basically once you hit above 500 million, meaning you have a 1 in 500 million chance to win. So once it gets above that, technically it's not a bad bet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's
Even though
fun.
it's a long
So
shot.
we're not saying go sell all your Bitcoin and buy some lotto tickets. Don't even, you probably shouldn't even buy it. I'm doing it for the dopamine rush. So I just like to gamble. That's
why not.
All right, let's talk a little. That's why we're in crypto, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk a little Yellen. Yellen said the U.S. economy was transitioning to steady, sustainable growth. Oh, really? Isn't this just a face you trust? All right. Biden and Yellen on Thursday dismissed questions about whether the U.S. economy was already in a recession, pointing to the strong labor market and other metrics as signs of its health. Of course, Wikipedia is also in the news with changing the definition of recession. The Commerce Department data released on Thursday showed that the GDP, adjusted for inflation, fell 0.2% in the second quarter, equivalent of a 0.9% annual rate of decline. So it looks like, maybe closer to 0.22 to reach that 0.9 level there. So that is definitely our economy contracting. 2 quarters of it, that's a recession. Treasury Secretary added that the global economy was facing numerous risks that could affect the U.S.'s economic outlook, pointing to Russia's war in Ukraine, lockdowns in China, and supply chain disruptions. There's a lot of things out there, global, and these macro environments. We're not out of the woods. She also expressed support for the proposed climate and tax legislation that Senate Democrats unveiled on Wednesday evening, suggesting that would help ease inflation. I think Mr. Wonderful said it best. He tweeted about this. spending more money won't fix inflation. It's going to make it worse. So I think he quote tweeted, I don't know if it was a, Yellen or, Gensler, I don't know. He quote tweeted someone from a Justice or a State Department and said, hey, this is what got us in the problem in the first place. This is what got us in hot water. And next thing you know, we're just cranking up the temperature again.
Well, that's what's so frustrating is that's Econ 101, supply and demand. You flood the supply, of course it's going to increase inflation.
Yeah. I mean, it's not hard to, think about on a, abstract level. Okay, you got an island. There's 10 people living on it, and there's 100 clamshells as currency. All of a sudden, you got someone from the outside controlling it says, hey, I'm going to enact this initiative where we're going to chop down a couple palm trees, and I'm going to inject 40 more clamshells. Well, it's not going to create inflation because I just created jobs. What happens when the jobs are over? You're still stuck with this glut of money. And I understand velocity of money. This is a very complicated subject. I'm just trying to explain like I'm 5 here. Velocity of money is not going to keep up because these are just short-term jobs. Sure. All right. We build a bridge. Now what? Okay. We lay some fiber in this rural Kentucky town for everyone to have high-speed internet. Okay. Now what? And it's just going to be example, just like that. So the velocity of money is not going to be sustainable. Sure, those people are going to get a job. They're going to spend it at the restaurant. But then eventually it's going to peter out if we don't have a long-term focus. You know what I wish? Well, maybe I don't because it was pretty dangerous back then. I wish we could build stuff like Empire State Building in 100 days again. Whatever happened to those days? Now you got people in California, they can't even put a pool in their backyard without, 2 years of red tape. But yeah, it's we'll see how this plan. I think it's going to pass. They have the power. They don't want to go into the session as back into the lame duck session. They want to be seen as, hey, heading into the election, we were doing this and doing that, and we passed this bill, and it's the best thing for America. So I think it's going to pass. We'll see what ends up being in the final bill, because what we're looking at now, what they're talking about now, that's not going to be in the final bill. It's going to be injected with pork, aka, hey, what can you do for me to vote yes? So we'll see. I want to be cautiously optimistic. It's just I've been let down. They just keep letting me down. Fool me once. You know what they say. But all right, let's talk a little gas. Exxon and Chevron report record profits on high oil and gas prices. The windfalls followed a spike in prices, resulting mostly from Russia's invasion of Ukraine and a global economy rebounding from the coronavirus pandemic. I would also add it's mostly from Saudi Arabia and OPEC, keeping a reduced supply even after the lockdowns were lifted. But, that's a whole nother story here. Exxon reported income of $17.9 billion for the 3 months through June, more than 3 times what it earned a year ago.
Dang.
I mean, that's all right. 3 months through June. Okay, so we're looking at April, May, June. But if you think about April, May, June of 21, we were still semi-lockdown mode. I think there's not much driving, so I don't. It's. I mean, you got to put yourself in that time. It was a little bit past Tiger King, but still, there was we weren't going to movie theaters. We weren't going to clubs and big group meetings. So a lot of this isn't oil companies evil. Haha, we're just trying to, of course the profits are going to be higher than a year ago. A lot more driving. There's a lot more commerce. There's a lot more gas being burned. But yeah, there definitely is a part of it is the war on Ukraine. It's such a complicated issue. I feel like I must say something when they just try to finger point and scapegoat and say, this is why gas is high. But all right, moving on here. Exxon reported income of 17.9. Revenue at the energy giant jumped to $115 billion from $67 billion a year ago. Chevron's performance was similar. Profit that more than tripled to $11.6 billion as sales rose to 65 compared with 36. So we're seeing revenue essentially double for both of these companies. In the 3 months through June, American crude oil benchmark averaged about 109 a barrel, or 64% more than in the same period a year earlier. Data from Bloomberg shows on Friday, the price of West Texas intermediate crude was closer to $99 a barrel. Exxon on Friday said that its refining profits, earnings that come from the processing of the crude oil into gas and other fuels, surged to $5.3 billion from a loss of $865 million a year ago. As Chevron refining profits were $3.5 billion, up from $839 million the year before. So, hey, shout out to my refinery. Shout out to the Houston crowd. All the people on that Gulf Coast. All the frackers. You know,
Yeah.
shout out to all the frackers. So what are your thoughts on oil companies evil? I mean, is that a narrative you buy? Is it a complicated issue? Are they evil? I mean, you know, I think there's an argument for both, really.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it's cut and dry one way or the other. No, in their essence, it's a business. It's obviously something people need, and there's nothing wrong with oil, in my opinion. That being said, these are huge companies, and when the power centralizes and the money centralizes, they can do some pretty shitty things or
Yeah.
bad things.
Yeah.
And yeah, so some of them worse than others. As a whole, as an industry, no, I think there's a lot of great people in that field, especially the people that are out there doing the work.
Mhm.
The higher up you go, the executive ladder, I'm sure the more evil it becomes, but that's across any industry. You do that in the car industry, in the energy industry, in anything. When you get up to the top of consolidated centralized power, they're going to be doing things that are for their own benefit.
Yeah, the main reason, you know, the main evidence I would say is they're not as evil as they want you to believe is their margins are nowhere close to, say, the healthcare industry. So they operate with semi-tight margins. So it's not a haha, we get this oil for $1 and then we're selling it to you for $5, selling it for like $1.07 or $1.06. But you look at like shoot the perfume industry, the makeup industry, the healthcare industry. It's a lot worse, and those margins are, you know, I would say that's a lot more troubling. In fact, they operated at a loss a year ago. So how evil can you be if you're operating at a loss? Are you really bleeding everyone dry if you're operating at a loss? Maybe there's some crazy financial, you know, accounting going on and there's secret, you know, maybe the subsidiary was record profit. I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying, you know, if you're operating at a loss, the narrative that, you know, you're just out there, ha ha ha, nickel and diming everybody, it just doesn't really pass the sniff test. But all right, sniffing that gas. What's up with gas not smelling as good as it used to when I was a kid? Moving
Right.
on. Shell smashes record again with 11.5 billion. It's just kind of going over the same numbers. Shell, Chevron, Exxon, you know, they all had a good quarter. Shell, in fact, is doing buybacks of their shares, spent 8.5 billion on share buybacks, and the new program is significantly higher than forecast. Here's a French rival, Total Energies, also reporting stellar results on Thursday with a record profit of 9.8 billion for the quarter and accelerated its buyback program. Yeah, I don't think the French allow corporations to bleed their people dry. Those people, they will go out there, they will protest. So if the French companies are making record profits, I'm sure it's with a lot more scrutiny than these American companies.
Well, and you have to remember there's lag time too, right? So they make money. What their profit probably is the oil they bought 2 years ago at a cheap price. They're still sitting on those reserves. Now it's much more expensive for them to buy oil, so they must raise their prices. But if they've got reserves that they can burn through last year or this year, they're going to make profit on that price change.
You know, I will say I don't like our petroleum reserves being like multi-decade lows. Well,
Yeah.
why is that a thing? Like that doesn't seem smart. But anyways,
Definitely
moving on to SEC and crypto. Let's get back to crypto here instead of talking a bunch of hot gas
Oil.
here. SEC official expects greater regulatory clarity from Washington after these recent crypto events. Of course, we know the recent crypto events that speaking of, our wallets reflect it. Hester Pierce, a commissioner at the U.S. SEC, believes that the recent events in the crypto market will motivate the regulators in the U.S. to dedicate more energy to creating more certainty regarding regulation. We would love that. We just want clarity. In her interview, the official stated that there's real value to allowing people to choose among business models, and there are some people in Washington who would like there to be high commissions so that people wouldn't trade. But that seems sort of counterintuitive to me. She also highlighted her view that they should be free to engage in transactions when both sides are willing to engage in that transaction. I think that's a great thing to just go by. We should be free to engage in transactions when both sides are willing. Of course, we're not talking about things
Right.
that are illegal. We're talking about Bitcoin, okay? We're talking about code. We're talking about software. And last I heard, software is just basically written word and code is speech.
Yeah.
And it's free speech. So you know what? If I want to trade some words on a ledger, I should be allowed to do that, right? If you're willing to sell to me, that's just my 2 cents. SEC's hostile position towards crypto. They've been perceived on a warpath with the crypto industry in the past, leading to Minnesota Senator Tom Emmer recently slamming the regulators absolutely unacceptable practices as not regulating in good faith, politicization of regulation, and the industry sweeps in the sector over which the agency had no enforcement over. Yeah, hey, I want to donate to this Tom Emmer guy. Anybody that stands up to these regulators, and at the same time, if you read between the lines, they're standing up to the banks.
Yep.
They're standing up to Wall Street. So Tom Emmer, I don't
Well-
even know what side he's on. I think I'd like this guy though. I think I like him.
Yeah,
I
let's
might,
let's not forget there's very little difference between the regulators and the banks. They're basically the same people. Like the banks are
Yeah.
paying the regulators.
Yeah, and it's like a revolving door. We see with the the FTC, a pharma head all of a sudden is like, or FDA now in charge of approving. We see the same thing with Wall Street. Oh, now you're at Goldman Sachs. Now you're in charge of approving these things. So it's really good. All right, where are we at? 12:05. You know what time it is? Not tool time, boomers. No, it's time for you to hit that like button. I think we're only at 800 or so.
Yep.
Really would like to get that to at least 1250. I know we can crack 1,000 just before we even go over before we finish Axie. So
Let's do it.
please smash that. Ben's voice has also changed too. If you watch a video from like a year and a half ago, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I noticed from watching the channel is the bitswapdex.io video was, I don't know, that audio was like 6 months old, 9 months old, maybe even 3 months old. You could hear it, and you would hear Ben's voice from 9 months ago, and then you'd hear the video starts and he starts talking, and be like, these are two different people. But he heard his or changed his voice permanently after he lost his voice at an event, correct?
Yeah, that's what we think anyway. We did a meetup and we were there for probably 5 hours shouting over, bar sounds and music and all that kind of stuff. Lost his voice for a couple days after that, and then when he came back, it was never the same.
Dang, tool time makes me a boomer. Harsh, bruh. All right. Millennials and boomers alike. We all like tool time. The neighbor, probably my favorite character. Richard Karn, Al, or I think that was his name. He was a cool character too. So man, those kids, like the last season or two, they went off the deep end. But all right, SEC's Gensler, seen here watching an orphanage burn, says no difference between crypto and securities exchanges. Of course, I'm kidding. He's watching a dog burn up in a locked car. The US SEC chair, Gary Gensler, has reiterated his belief that crypto exchanges should be treated identically to securities exchanges and therefore fall under his regulatory purview, not the CFTC. This is a classic power grab struggle between the SEC and the CFTC. Power does not like to let go. He also criticized exchanges for providing custodial services without proper regulatory framework to protect deposits. Imagine handing over all your stock to the New York Stock Exchange. That would never fly. Okay. Although, I mean, why? Who cares? Although the Gensler has repeated, they call him the Gensler here. I don't know if that's a typo. Maybe he's speaking about himself in third person now. Although the Gensler has repeatedly urged crypto exchanges to register with the SEC, many companies have criticized the agency for its lack of clarity. We've talked about that ad nauseum here. They're trying to do clarity through enforcement, instead of just saying, hey, these are the rules. Now, will you follow them? They'll just wait you to operate as a normal business. And they say, hey, you broke a rule. You say, oh, okay, which one? And point to it. Don't worry about it. You broke it, though.
Right.
Can you tell me what rule I broke? What law I broke? Well, we don't have one yet. And that's basically what they're doing here. So
yeah, it's very frustrating. I don't know if you have that tweet up there.
Yeah, looking at it right here.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, Gary Gensler had this like polished. I hope it stays muted here. We don't need to listen to the man. A 3-minute long, highly edited, highly polished office hours with Gary Gensler. We have rules in our capital markets to safeguard market integrity and protect against fraud and manipulation. If a company builds a crypto market that protects investors and meets the standard of our market regulations, people will more likely have greater confidence in that market. What's wrong with Coinbase? What's wrong with FTX?
Yeah,
what's wrong with KuCoin?
If you read between the lines there, that's pretty much what he's saying. If a company wants to build, they must get our blessing before before we allowed citizens on there. And I have a feeling it will be Coinbase and FTX because they are aligned with the government.
Yeah, and Choda, I took Gensler's MIT open course on crypto. Those who don't know, a lot of Harvard, Stanford, MIT, you can get all these free lessons online. He took his MIT open course on crypto. He seems like he's really open to crypto, though he's definitely a Bitcoin maxi. Yeah, I think we all felt pretty good about this. Was it a year and a half ago when we're like, man, this guy taught crypto blockchain technology at MIT. We're going to finally have someone in there that understands. But I mean, if it's a maxi or if he's just, I don't want to say corrupted, but, maybe he's kind of just too focused on this battle with the CFTC. And now he's the one moving fast and breaking things, although he's accusing the exchanges of doing that. And that's just a classic psychology thing you'll see all the time. A little, good for thee, but not for me here. But here's the deal. Why are our taxpayer resources going to this? Why are we building his personal brand on Twitter? What that makes no sense to me. It makes zero sense to me. We paid for this, by the way. How does that make you feel, TJ?
Yeah. I mean, I put it in a long list of things the government doesn't manage well.
Yeah.
Especially our finance.
Unless it's Mr. Pelosi's stock account.
Yeah.
No,
they do very
handle that
well with their personal funds. It's the stuff they control of our funds that they mismanage dramatically.
All right, shout out to Civil Audit. He took Gary Gensler's red stapler. I heard he's still asking about that stapler to this day. And they're going to regret not giving back his red stapler. Do I smell smoke? All right, Axie Infinity, where there's smoke, there's fire. Axie Infinity chief denies insider trading, says firm was fighting the short sellers. Hey, we're the good guys. Article from Win here. All right, Axie Infinity co-founder-in-chief Trung Nguyen has denied that he engaged in insider trading shortly before the game's parent company, Sky Mavis, announced it had been the victim of a monumental $600 million hack. So here's what happened. They had a hack, $600 million. They knew about it. No one else knew about it. It wasn't commonly known. Maybe a blockchain detective or two knew about it. But before they knew, they went ahead and they made some sales. They sold some tokens before it was public knowledge so they could get that higher price. Here they said, at the time, we understood that our position in options would be better the more AXS we had on Binance, a Sky Mavis spokesman said via Bloomberg. Calling Axie Infinity his life's work, Nguyen said his team were in close contact with Binance to discuss the closing of the bridge and how to ensure user funds would be restored as soon as possible. We don't really know the end motivation. There is something to say like, okay, look, we wanted to protect the coin. We know. How about that, Elron? Corey, we already talked about it.
Yeah.
There is something to say like, we wanted to fight the short sellers. People are going to short. If we actually sell at this moment now, we could possibly create buying pressure at the bottom and maybe the coin would be better off. I don't know if that's what they did. Did they create buying pressure at the bottom? Did they try to maybe open a long, to fight the shorts? Did they try to wreck the short sellers? Maybe. Did they keep it in ETH or stablecoin? I don't know. I'm sure more information about this is going to come out. So I just want to, maybe give them the benefit of a doubt, but it doesn't look good to front run your customers like that, though. Like, it definitely doesn't look good.
No.
DZ, do you think the CNFT market will take some of the ETH NFT market cap in the next bull run? I think we took a little bit of the excitement. A lot of people, you can see it with the chilled Kongs. It looks like a lot of the Bored Ape. Actually, you have a chilled Kong. This I didn't even plan that as their picture avatar there. Yeah, a lot of the Bored Ape people came into the Kong space. So we saw some people move ETH into Cardano. Will we see that giant parabolic explosion? Maybe never. I say that as someone who loves Cardano. I also love ETH, and so it's hard when you're used to Ethereum and you're used to transactions happening essentially immediately. You wait 5 seconds and it confirms. With Cardano, you kind of do a transaction and then you just kind of walk away from your computer. You hope it happens in 10 seconds. It used to happen in 2 minutes. It used to just be able to send Cardano from wallet to wallet. You couldn't even do anything with it. So we're slowly but surely catching up to a better user experience than Ethereum. Will it ever happen? I don't know, but we're getting closer and closer. So I don't think we'll ever see that Cardano passes Ethereum moment, though. I don't know if it could ever happen. Maybe 10, 20 years from now, but I don't see it happening next bull run or so.
You're talking market cap or NFT volume?
You know, both essentially.
Both, yeah.
You know, the NFT volume, NFT market cap, you know, JPEG store, you know, just totally blowing out OpenSea. You know, even if it happened like once or twice a month, you know, we're so far away from that. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm still bullish. Still got my Kong, still got my cats, still got my space buds, still got my clays. I'm trying to build a blue chip portfolio on Cardano because it's cheap. And so that's my strategy. You know, not financial advice, but it seems like it's working. You know, I'm getting some cheap blue chips.
Well, and that's something we talk about on this channel a lot is how far ahead Ethereum really is of all these other layer ones. Like Cardano's great. Like you said, it's making a lot of progress, but it's a long way to go before it catches Ethereum.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and Ethereum just keeps upgrading, keeps upgrading, keeps upgrading. Cardano's upgrading as well, but you know, as Cardano catches up, you know, Ethereum also goes up, and then you know, then has further to catch up. So we'll see. It's, you know what, I love both coins. I do have more Ethereum, but you know, this because I didn't buy more cheap Cardano. Actually, I did, but I sold it at like $1 something, and then I FOMO'd probably back in at like $2. But all right, moving on here. Let's talk a little Gary V. A16Z leads 50 million seed round for Gary V's NFT project.
Wow.
Vee Friends, that's huge, right?
Yeah, well, that was also kind of rhymed. That was good. Like you're rapping.
Vee
it up.
Friends will use the investment to further build out the NFT characters' IP rights. We were at VCon. Great experience, even though me and Taka ran in the wrong direction trying to get to the merch line. I've told that story before. It still gets me raged. VC firm Andreessen Horowitz, still out there spending money, said it's leading a whopping 50 million seed round for Gary Vee's NFT project, Vee Friends, marking a bright spot in a challenging funding landscape for digital asset-focused startups. Vaynerchuk hand drew each cartoon animal. Here's some examples: wise wasp, generous gerbil. It's dumb things like the manic monkey. You know, it's if it rhyme or if it has alliteration, he'll do it.
Yeah.
Chat, throw out some animals, and I'll make up some Gary V animals on the fly. So
Tiger.
we got the tired tiger. Why is he
Okay.
tired? He's been in the Discord all night. I think that's why his eyes are red. I don't know. Some of those NFT guys. Vaynerchuk hand drew each the wise wasp, a generous gerbil, for example, in the style of doodle art, aka middle school scribblings, and attributed a specific human trait to it. 17 such characters are featured on the special edition deck of Uno. A16Z also led a $25 million seed round to fund the launch of Co-Create, new protocol that intends to support the growth of NFT projects and enable them to launch their own native tokens. Vaynerchuk's investment fund, was also an investor. So, hey, they're teaming up. Whoa, I almost said Rhino. That was wrong. No, he's the. All right, see, y'all have already derailed this, and now I don't even want to do it anymore.
Yeah. Rowdy Rhino.
Rowdy. Yeah, you misspelled rowdy there, buddy. Yeah. Not the jerk. Okay, yeah, we're moving on from the animals. You guys are sick. You're sick. You ruined it. I was gonna do it, but you know, you guys. Chat. I expect that from the basement.
Yeah.
Okay. I expect better things from the YouTube chat. See, the basement, they follow the rules.
Yeah.
But okay. Zebra. Not many words start with Z. The zealous zebra. There you go. ApeCoin DAO approves proposal. Where my apes at? Proposal to fund the Bored Ape Gazette. Bored Ape Gazette website will evolve into 24 hours news site, complete with live Bored Ape Yacht Club, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, and Bored Ape Kennel Club and other deed sales ticker. Hey, reach out to me. I'll make a little weekend show for you. The DAO of ApeCoin, the native token of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, approved the proposal of funding the Bored Ape Gazette into a 24-hour style news site. You know what? I would have agreed. I have a little ApeCoin. I don't vote in the proposals, but I would have been with that vote. That is one of the utilities of your ApeCoin. The Bored Ape Gazette website will evolve into a 24 hours news site, complete with a live, like we said, the sales ticker, ApeCoin price chart, complete with trade view. So, hey, pretty big news. If anyone can pull it off, Yuga Labs can. They did a fantastic job. I can speak personal experience. I think TJ would agree. Fantastic job with Ape Fest. The coolest party, any crypto party, after party, Bitcoin mine, anywhere, any city, is the coolest thing I've ever been a part of as far as a crypto party. What about you? Was it the coolest crypto party you ever been to?
No, I mean the Galaverse stuff was pretty sick.
Oh yeah, that Gala stuff. That was so exclusive though.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were those tickets?
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't pay for the tickets.
Yeah, I want to say those were like $20,000
Yeah,
tickets or
it wasn't
10,000.
cheap.
Yeah, it
but
wasn't cheap. ApeCoin, they allowed all the holders to go one day for free. So
mm,
yeah, good point. The Gala event. So Gala really knocked some events out of the park. I know Wendy, J Chains,
mhm.
TJ, they just couldn't say like how awesome it was. It's just so cool. Kings of Leon and other people, but Ape Fest also cool. Hey, Lil
Yeah,
Wayne, Snoop.
it was legit, and Yuga Labs is definitely doing a really good job of building a brand. I wanted to ask you if
Mhm.
you, because I can't think of any, but you're a lot more in NFTs than I am. Outside of Yuga Labs and then what we just heard with Vee Friends, has there been any other project to raise significant amount of money like that in a seed round for the
Kevin
future?
Rose,
Okay,
essentially with the Moonbirds, he's
got it.
treating that as a seed round. I want to say Moonbirds raised $70 million, but that was from selling their I think it's 16-bit owls. So he kind of ran that as a as a VC funding round almost, and they have some of the highest percentage of OG owners. So the people who minted the birds, the Moonbirds,
Hmm.
I think 28% still hold. And for NFTs, when it reaches these $100,000, $50,000, 20,000, for people to not paper hand at some point,
Yeah.
28% is really, really good. So I would say Moonbirds is probably the next closest, but the Moonbirds community was very bad with their recent utility. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say it was a fanny pack, and people were pissed.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this bird, y'all made 70 million and you gave out 10,000 fanny packs. So
Yeah,
uh,
it's
check
just
it
this
out.
concept of an NFT project doing a raise like a traditional business is very intriguing to me. Obviously, those two have very strong brands, very big plans for what they're going to do on the roadmap in the future. Um, but I wonder, the more we get into this, speaking of lack of regulatory clarity, what happens if you launch a project and then come back and do a raise? It's just interesting to think about.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, are you going to get in trouble for, writing a check? That's
Who
the
knows?
position some of these people are going to be finding themselves in. So,
Yeah.
money will dry up in the crypto space if we don't get these mega billionaires, mega millionaires to feel free to like invest in something that does have strong utility, that does have a strong use case, that does have a strong team, but they're scared to invest because they don't want Gary Gensler coming after them. I got so mad I almost knocked over my drink. Today's episode brought to you by water.
There
All
you
right,
go.
let's move on. Let's see. We're at Mercedes Benz. Yeah, 1220. All right, we're plugging along here. Benz and Polygon to develop a blockchain based data sharing platform. What's your first thoughts when you hear that?
Um, it's kind of inevitable that when it comes to machine or the Internet of Things, they kind of need that to automate the world. That being said, anytime you're talking about changing, can you scroll up to the top real quick?
Hungry Hamster. Hungry Hamster. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know how that
there you
one
go.
made it through.
You know, blockchain based data sharing is great in theory until it starts infringing on privacy, which is a very slippery slope. That's all I would say on that. So when you're sharing data, it can be done well, and blockchains will be able to allow users to select which data to sell and or share. But yeah, it can be a slippery slope. I'll
Yeah,
just
one
leave
of
it at that.
the main bottlenecks of crypto is transactions per second, aka TPS. Solana has some of the highest of the major chains. I think it's around roughly 3,000. It fluctuates. Ethereum, I think, is like 15 per second. When you're doing, Mercedes Benz assembly line, trying to track everything a VeChain style, 15 transactions per second, 1,000 transactions per second, 10,000 transactions per second. That's fine. It works dandy. It just wouldn't be able to replace Visa or something like that. But yeah, Polygon just keeps teaming up with people.
Yeah,
Dame,
that's a big announcement. To have both Disney and Mercedes, those are two huge brands, and it bodes well for Matic for sure.
yeah, if this would have happened in February of
Yeah.
21. Can you just imagine?
Yeah.
Would have been $5 probably. Daimler Southeast Asia, a part of the Mercedes-Benz Group, announced a data sharing network based on blockchain technology, which will leverage the Ethereum Layer 2 scalability platform Polygon to launch its product. And these companies, they love still being able to work with Ethereum. I think, this just sounds good for investors. Users can pay with stablecoins instead of crypto for the data, although all transactions will happen on the Polygon network. As a result, Polygon gas costs must be paid using Matic, the network's native cryptocurrency. Although data sharing is a very sensitive matter and often controversial. However, with online services growing, the need for data sharing has exploded across various industries. A lot of controversy when it comes to sharing data and blockchains, but there's ways to hide data. Zero knowledge rollups, come to mind. There is ways, but if you're just saying, hey, here's where the windows are going, or here's where this Mercedes was. Okay, we sent 12 to this dealership in Nashville. We sent 10 to this dealership in Atlanta. And we sent 15 to this. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think that's you got to worry about. I don't think they're going to be putting your customer data on there. It's not going to be like, oh yeah, you apply for some financing and we're putting your social security card on Matic. Like I don't. It's nothing like that's going to happen. So hey, good for them. And Matic, good job during the bear market, building partnerships with high tier corporations here. Disney, when it comes to media, it doesn't really get better than that. I mean, they're top 3. They're up there with, in a weird way, I would say Netflix when it comes to content creation. Sony, MGM. So huge news teaming up with Mercedes. Huge news teaming up with Disney. Might have to add Matic to that bear market accumulation.
Yeah, especially the basement just pointed out Dr. Disrespect, who's one of the biggest streamers, is also partnering with Polygon for his NFT project.
I love Dr. Disrespect. Very, not only is his content just hella entertaining, so entertaining. He's 6'8", 47-inch leap vertical. It's hard to beat that. The handlebar mustaches makes Bert's children's jealous there. But he goes against the trend. He isn't scared to be, I don't want to say controversial, but to do the opposite of what the crowd's doing. He doesn't mind being non-consensus right, or seeing if he's non-consensus right. He doesn't have to conform. So we saw it with the whole Twitch debacle. We saw it with him threatening legal action. We saw it with him taking his camera into a bathroom. He'll do anything. He's a madman.
He's fun.
We're not gonna get into that, him taking a camera in the bathroom, but if you want to learn more, just Google it. It's nothing crazy. He's kind of funny though.
It was it was basically he walked in there and the cameraman just followed him.
Yeah. I think he actually's like, what are you doing? Like he didn't want the cameraman to, but he's cool. Kind of disrespectful though.
Yeah.
Hey, I guess
that's why he's the doc.
Hey, firm handshakes all around. Cardano's Vassal hard fork experiencing delays. Here are the details. Most anticipated Vassal hard fork seems to be experiencing delays once again. During the most recent Cardano 360 event, Kevin Hammond, IOG's technical manager, hinted that there could be a few more weeks of delay without stating a specific date for the release. This, he says, was necessary for further testing and ensuring a smooth process. Delayed for a few more weeks. No talented engineer will question this. This is a commonplace move when it comes to building reliable and secure systems. So if you're out there complaining, shove it up your windpipe. The Vassal mainnet hard fork was tentatively scheduled to take place last week of July after IOG announced a shift in the timeline towards the end of June, seeing another delay. But in the past week, it reported in the last weekly evaluation report that it's working on a new node, 1.35.2. This version hopes to bring improvements and fix bugs found in the previous node versions during Vassal testing. It was also reported that the Plutus V2, not to be confused with Pluto Alliance V2, the Plutus V2 cost model was temporarily removed from the Cardano testnet while a potential issue raised by the community was properly investigated. So they're looking on it. They don't move fast and break things. They see if things work, and then they go in very methodically with a scalpel.
Well,
they shave and sliver, and they get that thing to a fine-tuned Ferrari or Supra.
One thing I was going to say on this topic, because I see people in the chat going, oh, no, delays. Pretty much just, if you're new here, almost everything gets delayed. Like development deadlines, whether it's crypto or not, whatever the developer says, this is where we're going to push, just add a few months to that.
Sometimes a year.
Yeah,
years.
Exactly.
Name your chain. I don't want to point fingers. There's people we respect that have been on the show that, run their own protocols, delay after delay after delay. And right now, though, is it that bad to delay until we're, getting that bullish momentum? I don't know. I don't mind, waiting for that bullish momentum, because part of a bear market is good news doesn't move the needle. Exactly. And I like to be in the bear market. Or I like to be in the type of market where good news does move it. Stop giving us these $2 Elron super chats and just buy $2 worth of Elron.
Yeah.
All right. All right, let's talk a little Ripple XRP Army. Where you at? Hit that like button if XRP was your first coin, just like me. I'm gonna go ahead and hit it. Ripple sold $408 million worth of XRP in Q2 in April, May, and June. Sold those in the second quarter, according to its most recent report. This marks a 49% increase compared to the previous quarter. Total sales accounted for about half of 1% of the global XRP volume. So, of all 200 XRP being traded, one of them was one of their Ripple tokens. So, not a huge amount of the volume. XRP's total trading volume has slumped from 96 billion to 78 billion in the second quarter. Ripple attributes the decline to broad macroeconomic cues. I would agree. Bitcoin recently recorded its worst quarter in more than a decade price-wise. So, yeah, this is just bear market. This is just Bitcoin leading the charge. There's not going to be much they can do about this. Speaking of XRP, there have been 7,400 token contracts created on the XRP ledger. According to Coin ATM Radar, almost 35,000 crypto ATMs controlled by 603 operators, 77 countries. 30,000 or 88% of worldwide crypto ATMs are in the US. We would like to see that, get a little more even, but I would like to see what's the percentage of ATMs, period, that are in the US. Is that on par for the regular numbers? Do we have 80% of all ATMs? So if we had 80% of crypto ATMs, this seems fine.
Yeah, I see them pop up all over the place. I saw one just the other day.
Yeah,
at a grocery store.
Yeah, the stores near where I live, they have Bitcoin on their sign. So, I like to, the store across the street doesn't have it. Guess where I go? Yeah, that's where I go. Put a Bitcoin ATM. I'm more likely to go shop there.
Yeah.
All right. We might have a quick hit or two. If you got any questions, let us know. Maybe we'll answer one or two. But wouldn't be a Deezy show if he didn't mention Chainlink. Yes, and today is Friday.
Hey.
I get to buy my 0.4 Chainlink.
Nice.
Maybe I'll buy 4. It's pretty cheap right now.
Yeah.
I will buy some though.
Stacking the bear market.
Hey, staking's coming. So, I gotta get that big stack of Link here. Chainlink forms 300 million Link support level. Billions worth of Link are now going to try to prevent the potential plunge below $6.70. Bring it on. I'm going to buy more. On-chain data for Chainlink suggests that traders form significant support for the token around the 670 price range. Transaction history suggests that 7,000 addresses are ready to grab over 300 million Link. Boy, my 0.4 is really adding to that pile there. At around 670, 7,000. Put in that 300 million worth of orders with more than $2 billion worth of volume. The next major support level remains around 620. According to the daily chart, Link is actively trying to enter the reversal rally as the asset successfully broke through the 50-day moving average and is now aiming for the next resistant level, which is that 200-day moving average, which right now is around $11. Chainlink hit that roughly $50, so I'm certainly glad buying around $6, $5. If it's $50, you don't really care if you paid $6 or $5. So, hey, this is DCA levels I'm comfortable with. Do I think Chainlink? The first Chainlink I bought was $2. I'm okay buying at $2 again because this time I feel like I'm a little bit smarter than I was when I first got into crypto, and I feel like I'll take a little bit more profits. Not, I did sell most of my $2 Chainlink at like $6, like a noob. That was great. I think I probably FOMO'd back in at like 11, and then probably rode it up to about 40, 50, $60. And then now, probably rode most of it down. So, you know what? We're smarter now as Link Marines. We got more bars and little medallions and little sashes on our shoulders. We're ready. We're ready this next time. So, hit that like button if, this time you're ready to accumulate this Link at these levels because I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. You know what? When it goes to 3, I'll buy more. If it goes to 3, goes to 4, I'll just buy more. But I'm fine buying my 0.4 at $6, even maybe $7. But I don't know what the actual number. I always joke it's 0.4 or 4. $60. I could probably swing 60. Maybe I'll buy 10. All right, let's get into a little Q&A.
Yeah, real quick I'm back on YouTube. I sold all my Theta looking at AVAX or HBAR. Thoughts?
I know Mason is Crypto Mason's really bullish on HBAR. I have a little AVAX, so I have more AVAX, but I'm feeling FOMO for HBAR because I have AVAX, and I would say why not a little bit of both,
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say both of those are strong choices for sure.
Yeah,
If I
hedge your
had to
bets.
choose one, I'd probably go Avalanche.
Okay, fair. I agree with. I think Avalanche's percentage of success is higher,
Mm-hmm.
but I would probably look at percentage down from all-time high, because you could trade, mania and hype. Just pumpamentals are better than fundamentals.
Absolutely, especially right now.
So if one's down 97% from the all-time high, and one's down 82%, I'd probably get the one that's down more.
Another one from the YouTube chat. Speaking of delays, do you think ETH merge will remain?
No.
Will really happen on September 19th?
No, we just talked about this.
Yeah.
Expect delays.
Right.
Expect delays. Would you say it's happening?
No, yeah, I would think optimistically, even if it happens before the end of the year, but realistically, wouldn't surprise me if it's early next year.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah. All right. Next question.
Thoughts on if the bottom is in, how are you accumulating, stacking currently, or waiting?
So I'm in a weird position where I'm not leverage trading, but I'm spot trading a little Ethereum. I actually sold some this morning with the sole intention of purchasing more at a slightly cheaper price because it's a little overbought on the daily. Now I count that separate as like my accumulation strategy. That's just me just trying to have a little fun, just be a little bit of a degen, but not too bad. So I'm accumulating in these ranges. That flashed down to 800 for Ethereum and Bitcoin to the 17.6 or so.
Yeah.
I did buy a little bit more than I normally would, but I was feeling the fear.
Yeah.
And so I only increased my amount like 20%, maybe 50%. I should have been doubling or tripling the amount because I could have swung it. I could have not gone out to eat one time that week and bought a little bit more. So I say like scale up when it hits those scarier levels. It's just hard for me to convince myself, sometimes you got to do the opposite of what your brain wants.
It is tough, when you get down to those levels and then everybody's bearish saying it's going lower, you think, oh, I'll just wait and get it lower.
Yeah.
But this is the advantage of DCA strategy that you use so well. So I'd keep that in mind, guys. He talks about it on here a lot, where if you're just buying a regular amount every single week, putting a percentage of your paycheck in, you're going to get a very good blended entry, and you don't have to time the exact bottom or the exact top. So yeah, I bought a little bit when it dipped under 20K Bitcoin and under 1,000 Ethereum as well. And I would recommend you guys don't try to nail the top or nail the bottom. Just get close. So if you bought around 20K and it goes to 17, or if you bought around 17, and even if it goes all the way to 10, you're still in a good position for the next bull run. And you're going to kick yourself if you wait and don't get it till it's back above 30.
And speaking of kicking yourself, Raven Boy Crypto, don't kick yourself too hard. I feel dumb for losing money to Celsius and not taking the profits, holding all my crypto for kids they can sell when they're old enough. No, man, that's not. Look, I lost some money to Celsius too, and yeah, it hurts. It really does hurt, but I'm not giving up, and that's what they want you to do. They wanted you to be fearful at that $800. Guess what? Ethereum doubled. You could have doubled your money in a month's time in the bear market. And so there's opportunities out there. Okay. There's opportunities. There's strong opportunities. It just doesn't feel like it because we look at, we zoom out, we look at the monthly, we zoom out, we look at the weekly, but there's a time to make 100% profits in the past month with Ethereum, not some crazy speculative asset with Ethereum. Could have got in, that 850 and jumped out at 17 at the top already. So look, now is not the time to, if you got burned, just your XP is higher. Goku, you beat him up, he's now stronger. All right, that's how you got to look at it.
Okay, and thoughts on my portfolio: Link, Quant, Matic, XRP, Algo. What do you think?
I feel a little bit better with some Ethereum or Bitcoin in there.
Yeah, same.
But other than that, I like what I see.
Yeah, those aren't bad projects. They're all solid, but I would definitely add some Ethereum and some Bitcoin.
Yeah, and maybe throw in a little meme coin, for fun. Doge is what, 6 cents? Just for fun, buy ape Doge. Not like, more than double digit, 5%. Like, hey, maybe you can, again, pumpamentals always stronger than fundamentals. All right. Anything?
And then, yeah, last question. Somebody was asking if we're going to be going to London. We are going to be going to London at the end of the year. I don't know where the event's going to be held yet, but yeah, I'm planning to go at least. And yeah, we're looking forward to seeing.
We got to get Ben at the Big Ben.
Yeah,
at least.
He's got to be hanging out with. He's got to play some soccer on the pitch, or maybe some cricket or something. We got to do some very
tell them to bring a football. That would be funny.
That would be funny.
All right. I think that's all we got time for. Been a great show. Ben will be back from LA and hosting Monday, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, they're at Meta Money at the LA NFT Expo. So shout out to Adam, Charles, and Meta Money, out there. I'm sure they're going to come back with some secrets and some alpha, and we'll share that knowledge as well on here. But it's been great hosting. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. Bear markets, that time to accumulate. Okay, let's build our XP. Let's build our bags. Let's build our Satoshis, and let's, get ready for this run up, because when it happens, you're going to wish you were engaged right now. So stay engaged right now. That's the name of the game, and that's how wealth is going to be created, is by listening now, paying attention now, and making the smart moves. That's all I got to say. Easy out.